Greetings, parents and caregivers. Welcome to those who've made a commitment to find a healthier and more effective way to parent. Today, we want to wrap up this series about the battle that is so common between parents and their children, the battle for control. We want to pick up where the video on authority left off, the topic of parents as influencers in their child's life. If you haven't watched the video on authority, please watch at least that one, if not the whole series, before going forward with this final video. Let me start off dispelling a myth that has been promulgated in the realm of adolescence. The myth of adolescents turning away from parents. According to this myth, one key feature of adolescence is that our teens will turn away from us and towards their peers and even other adults. Like most myths, it formed as people observed a trend, something actually happening, and then they try to explain it. And while it's true that we do in fact see that adolescents often turn away from parents, it is likely a mistaken interpretation of why they resist and turn away. I began to question this based on my own experience with adolescents through the years. Even with defiant or substance abusing adolescents and young people, I can't tell you how often these young people have expressed to me they actually yearn for a closer connection with their parents. They even expressed profound sadness and anger about parents too busy or otherwise not available to them as they go through the tumultuous adolescent time period. More importantly, it doesn't fit with the research from polyvagal theory, the findings from attachment research, or the body of scientific findings we explore in interpersonal neurobiology realm. Underneath their turning away and their defiance, we see a profound yearning for a strong, respectful, co-regulating experience with their parents. In fact, a better explanation is rooted in the parent's struggle to maintain emotional and physiological stability in the interactions that they have with their teens, and the difficulty that parents have to provide a co-regulating experience with their teens. Deb Dana says in Polyvagal Theory and Practice, through polyvagal perspective, we know that although we stop explicitly looking for connection and found ways to navigate on our own, our automatic nervous system never stops needing and longing for co-regulation. The myth that part of adolescent development is teens turning away from parents persists not because this is innate in adolescence, but because we struggle to stay regulated and available to our children during the problems, conflicts, stressful situations, and crises. Unfortunately, the control battle between parents and teens forms and develops in this context. And this series has been all about this extremely common lose-lose battle that nobody wants. And today we want to wrap up this series and we pick up the phrase from the philosopher Monty Python. And now for something totally different. Dr. Dan Siegel and Mary Hartzell use the words resonating and feeling felt in their book, Parenting from the Inside Out. They say, attuning to each other's internal states links us in a state of emotional resonance that enables each person to feel felt by the other and mutually influence the internal states of the other. This attuning uses the body, heart, and the spirit to hear the child on a feeling level. We lean in with our heart to tune into, that's attunement, to reach out to the heart's body, their spirit, and their own heart. This facilitates the caregiver sensing the heart and the spirit of the child. In the video, Relationship First, we discussed the quote from Brain-Based Parenting, page 188. Quote, making the shift from a behavioral perspective to a relational perspective can change the way you feel about your children, strengthen your connections with them, and help them learn the things that you've been trying to teach them, end quote. The ultimate power in the moment is the ability to influence, to gently sway with total respect, to help them learn the things that we've been trying to teach them. What a powerful quote. The long-term impact is influencing their opinions and behaviors in a respectful and powerful way. This then impacts the choices they make and their own capacity to look out for their own safety. Our quest for something different takes us to the various aspects of influence, what I would call the way of the influencer. Let me clarify a bit. A Google search provides a basic definition: the capacity to have an effect on the character, development, or behavior of someone, and to have an effect or change someone. Influence is a subtle yet powerful process. Influence breaks down to inflow. It's about what is flowing from us into them. It starts with compassion and understanding. And in fact, the first part of influence is our deliberate attempt and conscious seeking to understand. In order to respectfully influence our children, we need to start with where they are. Seeking to understand them helps us discover where they are and what is going on for them. This is the old truism. The first part of figuring out how to get where you want to get is knowing where you are. Influence also lets go of judgment of the person and builds on acceptance. Acceptance is a powerful attitude toward another that is saturated with kind regard, the recognition of the other's innate right to autonomy, power, agency, and control over their own life. It is not about agreement, but more about, I believe in you. Now, please don't misunderstand influence to be a blind loyalty or a weak dynamic. It is subtle, yet profoundly powerful and looks to the heart of the person. The impact increases over time as the positive interaction increases. Remember those little capsules that we used to put in the bathtub with our children when they were small? They start as a small little capsule, but when exposed to water, the gelatin melts away and the creature emerges many times bigger. The way of influence works this way too. When our relationship is characterized by the small, subtle, yet respectful interactions, our children warm up and open up. As we seek to understand the way of influence, we need to be aware of three fraudulent imitators: manipulation, undue influence, and coercion. Manipulation is often covert and infused with partial truth or skewed information to overemphasize some evidence while downplaying or denying other evidence. Comparison, complaining, nagging, projecting doubt, and generally undermining the child's perspective or sense of competence are often combined with overemphasizing a parent's opinion, authority, or, quote, wisdom, end quote. Undue influence is a step above manipulation. It's about putting pressure on someone to comply with the stated expectation, or sometimes an inferred expectation. In undue influence, pressure is frequently disguised as best for the child. It is using someone's position of power to sway a person to comply or agree. Notice the power imbalance, which is exactly what we have in parent-child relationships. Note also that agreement in the context of not being free to disagree is not really agreement at all. It's simply compliance. That's another discussion altogether. Now, coercion amps up manipulation and undue influence and adds the use of more overt threats. Undisguised pressure is used to make the person feel they better do what they're told to do or else. It leaves a person feeling, I have no choice. With coercion, consent is irrelevant. It's all about do or pay the consequences. In more extreme situations, the threats can involve death, but any threat of harm, even mild harm, can fit into this category. While each of these includes a measure of disrespect and disregard, the level of pressure and disregard increases from manipulation to undue influence and then again to coercion. Most parents don't use the more severe versions of coercion, but some actually do. Most parents justify the gentler versions with thoughts of their best interests or efforts to guide, socialize, or keep them safe. But even if our intention is for the best interest, even if it comes from a deep love, or even if it is a gentle version, manipulation, undue influence, and coercion are still manipulation, undue influence, and coercion. All three of these compromise our parents' influence. This trilogy of terror destroys our influence with our children. They destroy trust, our connection, and ultimately our influence evaporates. And this causes us to double down in the trilogy of terror, and the downward spiral into the battle of control takes over. We need a new cycle. A new cycle starts with exchanging control for influence. First, this is a philosophical shift, a shift in our basic beliefs about parenting. We stop believing that it's our job to control our children, and we embrace the idea that our authority is about our influence. Second, with this start, we invest in learning how to show up regulated ourselves. Let me share a powerful quote from Polyvagal Exercises for Safety and Connection. Within a co-regulated relationship, your quest for safety is realized, and you create a story of well-being, end quote. This starts with taking responsibility, 100% responsibility for our own emotional and physiological states. We must stop expecting to be okay only if and when our kids are okay. We absolutely must learn tools to be okay, even when they struggle. The most basic tool is to pause and breathe. It's all about managing our own internal states. And third, we invest in and focus on attunement and co-regulation. Over the next months, I'll be rolling out several tools to help parents do this work. Right now, I'm promoting a shift in our beliefs and suggesting that we adjust our thinking on how to help our children develop all the good stuff that we want for them from video one. We do our work so what flows from us into them has the most positive, powerful, and potent impact. This is the way of the influencer. I believe this series of 9 videos creates a foundation for all the other conversations about parenting. Good parents want all the good stuff for their children. Unfortunately, our efforts to control blatantly undermine our connections. We need to give up the idea that it's our job to control our children. We need to embrace authority as influencers. I'm inviting all serious parents and caregivers, those looking for a powerful shift to a more powerful and effective way to parent, to jump ship on the old classic model and join the influencer revolution. Starting with this question: how do I interact with my child in a way that maximizes my influence? You see, positive influence is a welcome guest in the parenting realm. It thrives on respect and safety. It thrives on curiosity. It thrives when we pause and we listen. It thrives when boundaries are respected and supported and honored. Positive influence thrives when we collaborate. It thrives when we are playful. It thrives when others feel the compassion and empathy of us towards them. Positive influence thrives when people feel heard and understood. It thrives when our children feel the energy of relationship first It thrives in environments where healthy authority exists. When I say it thrives, I'm talking about the maximum benefit, maximum value, maximum positive impact. I'm talking about parents creating environments where children feel the resonating connection of an attuned parent. This is true parental authority and the way of the influencer.